Hey guys, Brewery 602 Beer Reviews here, at Brewery 602 on Instagram. My name is Marcus, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to be scoring a homebrew. So this homebrew was actually given to me by Ryan, who is at AZ Homebrewing on Instagram. Please go follow his page. This is the guy that actually showed me the way, right? He showed me how to homebrew. I was always interested. I mean, I've had a huge history with beer, tasting beer, taking notes on beer and stuff like that. And when I met Ryan, he's like, well, why don't you brew beer? And I was like, why not, right? So a few years ago, I got into home brewing. I did a home brew a long time ago, and it was awful. And so he got me back into home brewing, and since it's been a great ride. So I do appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan. So anyways, this is a recipe we kind of developed together called Old Lucille. It's an Imperial Stout. I'm not 100% sure the ABV on this. I think it came in around 8.5 to 9% is what he's telling me. Normally, I think it was over 10%, but this particular one came a little bit under. I think this is the third time he's brewed this beer. Normally, when he brews it, we brew it together, which means I just go sit there and let him do all the work. Anyways, I thought it'd be cool to actually do a BJCP beer score sheet on this. I've never done this before on this beer. So this is an actual beer score sheet. I've sat down on panels. I've done beer scoring. I've sat with BJCP judges and been lucky enough and thankful to be able to actually sit and score homebrew at the BJCP level. So very thankful for that. And I do really appreciate people that ask me to sit on panels and taste their beer. It's just a really cool thing. Anyways, this particular beer comes in category 20, subcategory C, which is Imperial Stouts. And there's no special ingredients in this. And the way the score sheet works, it's on a 50-point scale. 12 points can go for aroma, 3 points go for the appearance of the beer, 20 points go for flavor, 5 points for mouthfeel, 10 points for your overall impression of the beer, and that will give you the overall score. Now, anywhere from 0 to 13, it's problematic. There's something wrong. It's infected. It's awful. Not a good beer. 14 to 20, it's fair. You could drink it. Not bad. There's some flaws. Doesn't really maybe meet the grade or meet the BJCP judging guidelines, but it's a good beer. Now, 21 to 29 means it's a good beer. I mean, that means, well, yeah, you did a good job, man. Very good. Drink it. There's some off flavors here and there, maybe mouthfeel. There's something a little bit off with it, but it's a good beer. Now, you get into the 30 to 37 range, which is very good. That means, okay, you know what you're doing, right? You pretty much hit this beer on. Judges are always going to be very critical of your beer, which you want them to be as a home brewer. You want a judge to be very critical. So 30 to 37, man, you're probably going to medal. You did a very good job. Now, you get into the 38 to 44, which is excellent. You know what you're doing. You're dialed in. You know your system. You know your mash temps, your fermentation temps, your yeast profile, how much yeast to pitch. You did all your calculations, and you're brewing a very, very good beer to style, and you entered it in the right category. That's very important. 45 to 50, outstanding. Good luck with that, because most commercial beers I have are not in the 45 to 50 range. They're not going to be outstanding. BJCP is very strict. It's hard to get into the 40s. Somebody that scores a 40, on average, they've made a fantastic beer. And it's hard to get a 40 because when you're judging a beer and you're tasting it, you're very critical to the beer, which is exactly what a homebrewer wants. Homebrewers hate whenever you give them a beer and they know it's off, and you give it to them and they're like, oh yeah, this is good. I could drink this. And you're like, what's wrong with it? Like, tell me what's wrong with it so I could fix it. That's what judges do. So I'm so happy to be able to actually do that. Anyways, I'm flapping my gums so much. Let's crack it open. And this is all the way to the top right here. So it hopefully doesn't spill out. and it didn't. So that could be a bad or a good. I know he, this is the last of this keg of Old Lucille. So I'm thankful for Ryan for actually, you know, getting it for me, and it is at the very top of this bottle. So anyways, let's just give it a sharp pour. I'll see if I get any head on this. I'm pouring it extremely hard to try to get a head on this. So anyways, yeah, so your beer comes in even on the pour, a very dark brown to black. It's almost pitch black. It's going to appear pitch black in color on camera because it's pretty much pitch black in color. A very dark brown head on this, tightly compact bubbles to sudsy bubbles. It looks like an Imperial Stout. So as far as appearance is concerned, already, I mean, I would already give this a 3 because it looks exactly like an Imperial Stout should look. Now, the head retention, okay, it's not very carbonated right now, which again is not a flaw in Imperial Stout. Very, very big beers are going to be pretty low in carbonation. So let's get a drive-by aroma. Perfect. So in the drive-by, the first thing I'll do as a judge is do a drive-by. And as you can see, I'm actually capping, I'm cupping the glass, which is I'm trapping this space here. I'm trapping the aroma. A lot of times when I'm actually tasting beer, I don't pour the entire can or glass or can or bottle into the glass because I need some airspace for the aroma to actually come out. A lot of people will pour all the way to the top. The aroma, it just dissipates. You're not going to smell the beer properly. You're not going to get the perfect aroma on it. So anyway, that's me being anal and just capping it. And immediately, you know, the comment is there's chocolate. There's a lot of chocolate on this aroma just in the drive-by. So let's get another little aroma here. Very nice. So there's roast. You get roast. So you get chocolate, you get roast. Even that roastiness and that chocolatey character even lends a little bit to a vanilla kind of aroma. There's no lactose in this. I already know that because I know the recipe, and there's still a very strong, almost a vanilla kind of thing going. Yeah, so clean. It is very clean, and you get dark fruits, you get raisins, you get dates in there as well. The aroma is spot on for an Imperial Stout, and it doesn't smell like overly sweet. There's no esters, there's no phenols, there's no like off aromas. It smells clean, which means it's not an infected beer. Again, when you're judging, that's a great thing. Honestly, it smells like a commercial beer. It smells like it's a commercially made beer, like maybe even like the glassware I'm using is stone. It smells something to that effect, like a stone Imperial Stout kind of thing going on. Appearance is perfect. Let's get a taste on it now. Cheers. So in the taste, the first thing I'm going to pay attention to is the mouthfeel. So the mouthfeel on this particular beer, it's not chewy and it's not full-on mouthfeel. It's probably medium. It's thin to medium actually. So mouthfeel-wise, I'll say thin to medium. And the mouthfeel too is when you will actually notate the full body. If this is astringent, which is like, you know, drying on the mouthfeel or anything like that. Not drying, not astringent, but a little thin for the style. Now, as far as flavor is concerned, so on the aroma, you don't get fruity esters. Now, in the flavor, you get a little bit of fruity esters, or a little bit of fruitiness to it. So, first of all, in the flavor, chocolate. So, the first thing I would say was chocolate. It's chocolate forward. It's roasted malts. I'm writing too. I shouldn't be writing, but just to take notes. It is a little bit fruit forward. When I say fruit forward, for this style, I'm saying dark fruits. So I get raisins, I get figs. There's a little bit of like a chocolate covered date or something to that effect in there as well. Other than that, I mean, it's a straightforward Imperial Stout, very clean and very smooth too. Yeah, I mean, it's delicious. So as far as the aroma is concerned, it's 12 points for aroma. I would say on the aroma profile, I would give it an 8 out of 12. That would be my score for this particular beer. And again, a 12 out of 12 for Imperial Stout is going to be very, very, very hard to get. But there are some out there that are 12 out of 12, and that's just like full on. If it's a heavy body, you get like a massive amount of chocolate, a massive amount, like the dark fruits and everything else are just huge. They're huge on this. It's very slight, but you know they're there. So that's a great thing. So I'd give it 8 out of 12. As far as the flavor is concerned, now, the flavor, again, the body on the beer is a little bit thin, which, you know, detract from the actual flavor of the beer. So the next thing I would actually score is the mouthfeel. The mouthfeel, I'd only give it like a 2. I would give it a 2 out of 5. Sorry, Ryan. But it's thin. So one of my notes and my overall impression is going to be, let's beef up the body, which would be like maybe more oats or, you know, more of an adjunct to, let's get this body creamier, let's get it heavier. If the body was heavier on this, it would make those dark fruits come in bigger and chewier and, you know, more oily, and that's kind of what you want from that big Imperial Stout. Yeah, so flavor, it's a 20 point, so flavor is a massive score. In all honesty, I give this a 13 in flavor. Again, Imperial Stouts, you want them to be big and bold, and this one's just underneath that. I mean, it's not far at all. You can taste all the bones in this particular beer, and I know that Ryan has brewed this. The last batch he had brewed was like spot on. So the consistency of the brew is the issue right now. This one's a little bit thinner, a little bit less bold. So 13 out of 20 on that. And then my overall impression of the beer, again, my notes are going to be bigger body, more mouthfeel. So that way it'll help with the aroma. It'll help with everything else. So that's 10 overall, or 10 points. I'd give it a 7. So 7 out of that. And then overall score, I'm going to do math right now. So 13, 7 is 20. And then 8 and 2 is 10. So 20, 30, 33. I play a lot of Yahtzee, so really good at just kind of adding stuff together. So we got 20, 10, 30, 33 overall, 33 out of 50. And whenever I look over, okay, is it a classic example of this beer? It's pretty damn close. Is it flawless? No, it's not completely flawless. There are some flaws, but not significant at all. Wonderful or lifeless? Again, it's close to wonderful. It's a very, very, very good beer. So a 33 in the BJCP guidelines is very good, which is generally within the style parameters with some minor flaws. And that's exactly what this is. It's a 33 beer out of 50. Very good. Ryan does a fantastic job. Again, his name is Ryan at AZ Homebrewing on Instagram. Go follow him. My name is Marcus. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on the BJCP guidelines and scoring. I know it's a long video, so I do apologize. But again, my name is Marcus. It's Brewery 602 Beer Reviews at Brewery 602 on Instagram. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Cheers.